Bills Mafia, let's talk about something that defines who we are as a franchise: improvement. Every year, every practice, every rep, this team is pushing to get better, smarter, and tougher. It's not just about talent, it's about building a culture that can win now and keep winning for years to come. And today, we've got a story that ties it all together, a story about loyalty, development, and big-time plays from our rising stars. Before we dive in, smash that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an update. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around until the very end of this one. If you've followed this team for a while, you've heard it before: draft, develop, re-sign. That's not just a catchy slogan, it's General Manager Brandon Beane's blueprint for building a contender. And he's been living it since the moment he stepped into one Bills drive back in 2017. Beane said it from day one: I'm going to build through the draft, first and foremost. You have to draft well and sign those guys. You're not going to see big splashes of free agency. Now think about what that means. This is not a team built on quick fixes. This is a team that invests in players, molds them in the Bills culture, and then keeps them around when they've earned it. It's a long-term vision, and honestly, it's the reason Buffalo went from a 17-year playoff drought to being a legitimate Super Bowl contender year after year. Remember those dark days? Back then, signing our own players to long-term deals was rare, and big-name free agents, they weren't lining up to come to Buffalo. But now, players are taking less money to stay here. Free agents want to be a part of this locker room. That's culture. That's leadership. Fast forward to this year, and we've got the perfect example: James Cook. We all know there was some drama this summer, rumors, speculation, maybe even a little tension. But when the dust settled, Beane got it done. Cook signed a deal that works for both sides. It pays him at the higher end of his market value, but it also keeps the Bills' cap situation healthy. It's a win-win. We keep one of the most explosive running backs in the league, a guy who can break a game wide open. And Cook gets the security and respect he deserves. That's draft, develop, re-sign in action, folks. And let's be clear, James Cook isn't just a product of the system, he is part of the system. He's proof that when the Bills draft right, develop right, and reward the right guys, we keep the core of this team strong. But if Cook's deal is a perfect example of Beane's philosophy off the field, Kian Coleman is the perfect example of what we're building on the field. Let me take you to the Bills' joint practice with the Chicago Bears. Kian Coleman lines up, gives his defender a nasty double move at the line, burns him clean, and stretches out to make a one-handed grab for a touchdown from Josh Allen. It was the play of the day. And here's where it gets even better. When Coleman was asked about his chemistry with Josh Allen, he gave a response that every Bills fan should love: let's make it unguardable. That's not just a quote, that's a mindset. That's a young receiver who's not just here to play his role, he's here to dominate. Coleman went on to say that it's all about understanding each other, knowing what kind of ball Josh likes to throw, what kind of ball he likes to catch, and finding that sweet spot where it's unstoppable. Heading into his second season, Coleman is clearly a major piece of this offense. The Bills aren't just hoping he steps up, they're expecting it. When asked about his performance in that joint practice, he kept it simple: good routes, good throws, good catches, and a lot of making plays. That's exactly the kind of low-drama, high-production mindset you want in a player. One of his main focuses: separation. Coleman knows winning at the line of scrimmage is key, and he's been doing it all camp long. To him, that highlight reel touchdown wasn't a one-off. It was just another rep in a series of wins, and that's what makes him dangerous. He's not satisfied with a single great play. He's working to make it the standard. Here's the thing: both James Cook and Kian Coleman's stories are more than just headlines. They're pieces of a bigger puzzle: the Bills' ongoing push toward the ultimate goal, hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. Beane's philosophy ensures we keep our homegrown stars like Cook. McDermott's culture ensures young talent like Coleman develops into game changers. And when you combine that with Josh Allen's leadership, you've got a team that can go toe-to-toe with anyone in the NFL. Super Bowl LX isn't just a dream, it's a realistic target. But to get there, we need guys like Cook to keep producing, and guys like Coleman to take that next big step. And from everything we've seen this offseason, they're both ready for it. Look, we've all seen Josh Allen pull off the impossible. We've seen him break tackles, launch 60-yard darts off his back foot, and straight up drag this team to victory. But joint practices aren't about being Superman every rep. They're about testing limits, experimenting, and building chemistry against the very active Bears defense. Allen struggled early. He threw multiple interceptions during 7-on-7, including the tipped passes and another forced into tight coverage, and guess what? That's okay. If you're even thinking about panicking, take a deep breath and go watch Allen's highlights from last year, or the year before, or the year before that. The man's not broken. He's just in August mode, figuring things out before the real bullets fly. Chemistry check. Coleman, Kincaid, and the new guy. See if there's one thing that jumped off the field, it's the continued emergence of Kian Coleman and Dalton Kincaid. Allen looked their way often, and for good reason. These guys are playmakers. Coleman had the play of the day, torching his man off the line, hitting him with a filthy double move, and hauling in a deep beauty from Allen for a huge gain. You could almost feel the defender questioning his career choices after that one. Kincaid, as he's been doing all camp, kept finding soft spots in the defense and hauling in catch after catch. Year 3 is looking like his breakout season, and Allen clearly trusts him. Then there's the newcomers, Elijah Moore and Josh Palmer. Moore's crisp route running and timing with Allen is starting to click. Palmer, he showed exactly why the Bills wanted more speed in the receiver room. Every time he turned on the Jets, the defense had to respect it. And of course, James Cook, fresh off that big extension and all the drama that came with it. Cook reminded everyone why he got paid. He looked explosive, decisive, and every bit the RB1 Buffalo needs. This offense is building layers. The veterans are steady. The young stars are rising, and the new pieces are starting to fit. Bills fans, you're going to love this part. The defensive line was nasty, and it started with Joey Bosa. The guy was living in the Bears' backfield, stacking would-be sacks like they were training camp souvenirs. Rookie TJ Sanders got first-team reps alongside Ed Oliver and made the most of them. He flashed power and quickness, looking like he belongs at this level. And don't sleep on Landon Jackson. The third-round pick had been quiet so far, but he turned it up against Chicago, making life miserable for Caleb Williams. The red zone drills, forget it. Buffalo's front shut them down completely. Brandon Beane spent resources upgrading this group, and it shows. They look deeper, faster, and meaner than in years past. If they keep this up, it's going to be a long season for opposing quarterbacks. Here's the thing, the last few roster spots, they might come down to special teams production. And a few guys made serious cases for themselves in this practice. Marcus Ingram got into it with a gunner during a punt return rep. Nothing too crazy, just some classic training camp chippiness. Brandon Codrington nearly broke one for a touchdown. And Tyrell Shavers delivered the loudest moment of the day with a huge punt drill play, followed by an epic flex to the fans. Shavers is quickly becoming a fan favorite. He made big plays in the preseason opener and is stacking more highlight moments. If he keeps this up, his roster spot feels pretty secure, but it wasn't all perfect. Codrington and Ingram both made mistakes on back-to-back plays later in the session, the kind of errors that stick in coaches' minds during final cuts. Shavers is trending up. For guys on the fringe, every rep matters, and the clock is ticking. Bills Mafia, here's the bottom line. Brandon Beane's draft, develop, sign philosophy isn't just a catchy phrase. It's working. It's why James Cook is still in Buffalo. It's why Kian Coleman is developing into an unstoppable weapon. And it's why this team is positioned to make another serious run at a Super Bowl. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think this roster, built on Beane's long-term vision, is ready to finally bring that Lombardi trophy to Buffalo? Are Cook and Coleman going to be the difference makers we need in the biggest games of the year? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you're fired up for the season. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a single update. Because here in Buffalo, we're not just chasing greatness, we're building it. One player, one play, and one win at a time. Go Bills!